Cheers, guys. Epix911, welcome to the Elitist Geek. VR news for Monday, October 10th, 2016, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, with a very impromptu setup. Definitely not the man cave behind me here. A little brown, really. That's all right. That's all right. Let's talk some VR, guys, and jump right into it. All right. PlayStation's VR tracking problems. We have an official response from Sony on some of the tracking issues that I mentioned the last couple of days. Now, on their official FAQ on the Sony PlayStation blog, somebody asked Sony, does a room need to be dark for PlayStation VR to work? Sony responded thusly, and we'll get the exact quote here. Ambient lighting will generally not affect PlayStation VR gameplay. Bright light sources directly behind the person using PlayStation VR, lights coming in from windows, and room lights and lights reflecting off mirrors can interfere with the PlayStation camera and interrupt the tracking of the LED lights on the headset. It is recommended to eliminate bright light sources behind the PlayStation VR player. Furthermore, the blog states, the PlayStation camera is expecting to see only a single set of tracking LEDs. Mirrors that are in the view of the PlayStation camera will confuse the tracking. Smaller shiny surfaces are generally fine, but if you have problems with tracking performance, then these may be contributing to the issue. I do absolutely believe, Sony, that those are factors. But I also believe the reviewers, and it hasn't just been Upload VR, it's been a slew of reviewers saying the tracking is spotty regardless. And it's just a function of the camera technology being a lot older. Like, we're not talking laser beam tracking like we are with Vive. We're not even talking, a camera as powerful as the one that the Rift is using. We're talking about a much older camera, and it's doing an admirable job, but it's not going to do the same type of tracking job, unfortunately. Now, with that said, if you stick within the area, whether you're standing or sitting, and you're within the 10 feet, not at the border of it or beyond it, but within, tracking appears to work just fine for the majority of people. Now, I'm still really curious about it. I'm going to do a barrage of testing when I receive it, just like I'm going to do with the Rift and its tracking once I get my hand on the Touch and the other cameras. I want to test a lot of that occlusion and camera theory stuff for myself for the channel. But there you have it. That's Sony's official stance, I guess, or the official answer to that question about tracking. Now, we'll see if there's any follow-up from Sony once this hits the masses. In other news, Oculus Touch pre-orders, as I indicated earlier this week, have opened up today officially. And that was as of 12 p.m. PST. The pre-order bundle, which includes the second camera sensor, will cost $199 US. Now, if you pre-ordered your Rift on Oculus.com, you will apparently be able to get priority status. And in order to qualify for that, you need to ensure that you use the same email address that you initially used when you placed your Rift order to qualify. Now, I can only imagine it gets you first dibs on stock. They didn't specify exactly what priority status means, but generally priority means exactly that. You have priority. So it remains to be seen. If there's any of you that are doing a pre-order and can track that for me, just in terms of getting an idea when the time comes, that would be appreciated. Let me know. The pre-orders are also available in a few storefronts in the UK, namely Amazon UK and game stores. No word yet on North American stores offering pre-orders. And again, this is for the Touch. Hopefully that'll be announced shortly, though. Now, we are just going to kind of skirt the whole Oculus camera thing again. And I've made it clear when I said this in the other, a few days ago, this is coming from Oculus. This isn't my opinion. This isn't my testing. This is coming from Oculus. But I guarantee when I get the Oculus Touch, and I know I said at the beginning, but I'm going to reiterate it, I am also going to purchase a third camera, and I am going to run a super massive barrage of tests on every conceivable angle, position of those damn cameras, because it's brought up so much controversy on all kinds of websites and Reddits. You just need to test it, and we need to test it for ourselves to get our own understanding. Like I said, the official word, 360 within a certain amount of space, 2 cameras, works just fine. If you want almost zero occlusion in a much larger room space, you want that third camera, and preferably in the orientation or the, that triangle position that they indicate. But again, when I get my hands on these, and it will happen, we will be testing it. And likewise, I'd love to get results from you guys as well. And for the people who don't care about room scale VR, just sit back and chuckle at us. It's all good. It is all good. All right. Simpsons 600th episode has some VR experience attached to it. Now, let's put this into perspective. I graduated high school in 1990. That is, holy crap, that's 26 years ago I graduated high school. And when I graduated high school in 1990, The Simpsons was on its first season. In fact, I remember it from the Tracy Ullman show like 2 years before. I think it was 1987, 88, 89, somewhere in there, when they were featured on her show. So to say that it's lasted a long time would be a massive understatement. But anyways, and say what you will, right? Have they stayed with the times? Have they stayed relevant? That's not the point of this. The point of this is just to mention the VR experience attached to it. They have partnered, they being Fox, with Google to come up with 3 minutes of VR experience when they get to a specific point in the episode. If you don't have that, if you just have a standard television set, and I will link the article below, apparently you just see the standard 45-second gag, but you get the full 3-minute VR experience with the right equipment. And the right equipment in this case is Google Cardboard, and it's available via iOS and Android smartphones for Google Cardboard Viewer. They also have 25,000 limited edition cardboard Simpsons prints, and these things look kind of cool. I've got them up here. Definitely good for nostalgia. And apparently it was Google who approached The Simpsons, not the other way around. Google approached producer James Brooks, and they agreed to it. So again, it just blows me away. 26 years. Wow, what a run for that show. Next up, Sony has released some videos. So we talked about the FAQ with tracking. Well, to kind of cover all their bases. And I got to admit, as someone who creates training material, I create written documentation, I also create tutorial videos for things. Everybody learns different. Some people are just better visual learners. Some people, you can show them 100 times until they try it once, hands-on themselves. They're not going to get it. And same thing with lectures. Some people are great taking notes, listening to somebody like a college professor drone on and on and on. Some people record it, go home, dive into it yourself, and suddenly the material makes sense. So with that in mind, they've created instructional videos. Now, you would think that it's fairly simple, right, to set these things up. Even the Vive, was a little bit more involved. But the PlayStation VR doesn't look as complicated as the Vive even. And yet they've created 3 videos for it. But I got no problem with that. I think that's a great idea. Like I said, some people they're better visual learners. And the videos are definitely, done to a good quality. I've included all 3 links below for all of them, including the original article reference from Upload VR. Also, to do with VR and VR ready equipment. AMD, CyberPower, and Oculus have teamed up to create probably the lowest priced VR standalone desktop to date. Now, this is a PC running $499 US, and let's just say $500 US. And this is from geekygadgets.com. The PC contains AMD FX 4350 quad-core processor, a Radeon RX 470 with 4 gigabytes of RAM, 8 gigabytes of dual-channel RAM, a 1 terabyte hard drive, and mouse and keyboard. Now, for $699, they also have a version with an i5 Skylake and a Radeon 480. So, obviously a better processor, and of course the Radeon 480 as opposed to the 470. And like I said, that one is $699 or $700. Next up, Samsung has officially suspended all Note 7 production and sales. And you guys kind of know my little saga, right? And when I joke about Murphy, guys, I'm not joking. He's got it in for me. He always has. This kind of crap constantly happens to me. I've got the worst luck, I swear. I'm in IT. I deal with technology every day, and it burns me constantly. So this was my replacement, Note 7. And now apparently it's also in danger. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what the options are. According to TELUS, there is no official plan yet. It's simply don't use the phone. Well, I'm going to continue to use it. I'm going to be responsible with it, obviously, as much as I can. But as soon as possible, and probably when I get back in town, back into the Vancouver area, I will swap it for the phone that I originally had, which was the Galaxy 7 Edge, and be done with it, or go with a Pixel, but we'll see. But then I don't think I'm compatible with Gear VR. No, but then I could use Daydream. Anyways, we'll sort it out then. As always, guys, cheers, and definitely catch you on the VR flip side.